Hey guys, we're here. Cole came up here to my shop, gonna do a little walk around tonight, before we head to Dirty Turtle for the Southern Rock Racing race this weekend. As a lot of you know, I kind of busted butt past 2.5 weeks and pretty much built this buggy. I'm gonna call it unfinished business. Built it from the ground up. It's been a lot of work, a lot of hard hours, and a lot of less sleep. But I finally got it done, and here we are with I went back solid axle, Old Faithful, and nothing against the buggy I built before, Moneymaker, the independent front suspension. It worked, don't get me wrong, it worked great. And really, in my opinion, it worked too good. I'm used to looking at a hill and using a small rock to jump over a big rock in a certain circumstance. And it just didn't work that way. It pretty much would soak up the ramp. So I went back to what my roots are and what I kind of know works the best for me and my driving style. What we did was built a whole new chassis. I went with Pro Rock Dana 80 in the front to match the rear. Scott at Sunfire, he's been a huge help to me. Pretty much any part I needed, I call him. If I needed it next day, he'd get next day for me. I kept my wheels powder coated on black this time. Of course, trail ready. They hooked me up with them, and Go Forth hooked me up with these tires right here. Went back to good old faithful SX. Good thick sidewall, so hopefully minimize punctures and whatnot. Put the TC cut on them, and waiting on the front bypasses. King has done a phenomenal job at doing, for one, the custom color, the black. The blue, a lot of times they keep in stock, but doing the black for me custom. They got me the coil carriers quick. The bypass, actually having that next day to Scott at Sunfire. Me and Cole gonna go up there tomorrow. We're gonna show up, be on Friday. We're gonna get the bypasses on, go Dirty Turtle, do a little shock tuning and messing around before the UTV race tomorrow evening at 3 p.m. But anyways, back to the buggy. Pretty much the same motor. Obviously, same motor Moneymaker had. It's 434 small block, PTC built, power glide transmission, SCS straight drive gearbox. Kept my Dana 80 in the rear. Of course, I'm obviously a big rear steer fan. I was wanting to go ahead and do this from rear steer, but I knew I was in a time crunch. I didn't want to have to borrow anyone else's rig, just for instance, just so I don't put no one else out of the points chase. I had to redo my drive shafts a little bit. I had to lengthen the rear one, for shorten the front one. Got the carry bearing and all that mounted. RCV went through hoops and got me the axles, 47 spline for the front. Overson, of course, he did a phenomenal job and got me the C and knuckle. Luckily, he had all that stuff on the shelf available, high steer arm and all. Other than that, I was somewhat lucky. I was able to reuse some of the interior panels off Moneymaker, so I didn't have to rebuild a dash. Pretty much just had to retrofit this chassis to fit those panels. I was able to reuse my fuel tank. That helps a lot. Reuse my radiator. PSC, they stepped up and gave me full-blown steering kit. It's going to be a little bit of a swing going from Moneymaker was a rack and pinion setup going back to the orbital style. But I drove this buggy for about 30 minutes yesterday, and I'm already feeling it pretty good. So it ought to be interesting. I'm just glad to be back on my side of the mountain with a solid axle. Pretty much point and shoot it. Don't worry about stiffening it off in there. The link bar is going to take it, and that's pretty much where I'm at. And there's a whole lot of business that's been unfinished, and I'm trying to take care of it the rest of the year.
And just to prove that it's a whole nother buggy, here's Moneymaker out here, out back, sitting under the shed. We figured a bunch of you guys would like, oh, it's the same buggy, but it's not, as you can see. Peace out.